Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning into the My Career Path podcast. So as I mentioned last week, I'm going to be going over the live stream that happened this last Thursday with Dave Ramsey and Mike Rowe. I love both those guys. Mike Rowe, I grew up watching Dirty Jobs. I loved hearing him interact with the other people and just seeing kind of the crazy jobs that he found that were so essential, but no one had ever really heard of. So hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys take something away from it. Alright guys, so just like I mentioned in the last episode, this one is actually going to be covering the live stream that Dave Ramsey did with Mike Rowe this last Thursday. So if you haven't checked that out, highly recommend it. They were talking about the workforce, talking about why people are sitting out, talking about the main reasons that people just aren't as energized about work anymore, why people are choosing not to be in the workforce. So highly recommend it. It's super motivational, and it just really hits you in the face with facts and just making sure that you know what's going on in our world today. I'm just going to be sharing some of my favorite parts from that live stream, and I hope you guys enjoy. So one of the first things that Mike Rowe and Dave Ramsey were actually talking about was why people are sitting out of the workforce. Right now, there's about 7.2 million men who are choosing to sit out of the workforce due to a variety of reasons. And they kind of cover it going over the live stream. They cover, well, because of the pandemic. They cover, well, for a period of time, people were told, hey, you're not essential, go home. And just this lack of motivation, lack of recognition for these people, and especially for some of the tradesmen. Mike Rowe mentioned that for every 5 tradesmen that retire, only 2 tradesmen end up taking their place, which are numbers that are kind of scary when you're looking forward in the future, where we're in the future, and even in some cases now, we're having difficulties finding plumbers, finding electricians, construction workers. I mean, if you look at any job searching website, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, like all of these sources, there are so many construction jobs, but nobody wants to work them. And Mike Rowe kind of goes over this as to why that was, and the main reason actually was because for the last 20 so odd years, those were the jobs that were made fun of. Those were the jobs that you got if you couldn't get into higher education. There was such a big push towards this higher education that, hey, if you couldn't get in, that's what you're stuck with. You're stuck being a plumber. And as TV shows and movies portrayed, there were these 300-pound men with ginormous butt cracks who just could barely fix a pipe because guess what? Oh, they couldn't get into college, so therefore they must be dumb, which is not the case. And Mike Rowe actually was kind of arguing, you know what we need more of? We need more plumbers and electricians and construction workers and tradesmen like welders and all of these different positions to be so curious about the world, to be able to quote Thoreau, Socrates, these philosophers of our time, to raise that standard for everybody. And so that's something that just kind of hit me pretty hard. And that's something that going forward, these are the kind of people that I also want to interview. For the last little bit, most of the people I know have college degrees, have kind of these office jobs, but I want to find more of the construction workers, more of the plumbers who have been doing it for 20, 30 years and kind of get their feedback, because in order to be successful, you don't have to have this college degree. I'm not saying that education's bad, and it's something that I bring up often in our interviews. It's just that it's not the be-all, end-all. It's not, hey, you get a college degree, your life is set, and that's hardly ever the case. It takes a lot of work. Your path kind of bounces back and forth. And if your path is choosing to go into one of these trades, whether it be a welder, whether it be a sewer worker, I mean, some of these people are making 6-figure jobs, which is kind of bizarre to me because I remember growing up, that was what I was told. Hey, go to college, get your higher education, get your degree so that you don't end up like that guy. Which is funny because if you look at it now, these people are making 6 figures. You want to be like these guys, honestly. And now I kind of look back, and I even talked with one of the guys at work, and we both kind of look at each other and we go, yeah, we're using our degree, we're using parts of it, but a lot of it is, hey, I'm not sure how to do that. I'm going to have to go figure that out. And we talk about it and go, if we had to do it over right now, what would we do? And I told him, I said, I would probably go in to be an electrician because I think that's a really cool part of the market. It's something that's in high demand. But in our society, it's kind of just looked down upon as kind of a lesser job. And Mike Rowe, I think, is just so good at explaining this, and even just watching his show, Dirty Jobs. That was kind of the whole premise of the show. Hey, these are jobs that are essential. These are jobs that have to get done. Somebody's got to do them, and I'm going to have fun with these people as we do it. And he even talks about it a little bit and going, why does it look like you're having so much fun when you're, wading through filth or cleaning up all this waste? And he goes, well, because we genuinely were. These people knew that their jobs were important. These people knew that it had to be done, and they enjoyed their jobs, and they enjoyed being in that position. And so for anyone looking to kind of go into higher education, I think it's a great path. I want to make sure that if you're looking at going into some of these tradesman jobs, that's just as beneficial, just as needed, if not more so right now. Because my generation especially was always told, go to college, go to university, make sure you get your degree. And then from there, your life will be set. You don't want to end up like these people because it's a lesser job for some reason, when it's now more essential than ever. There's so much construction. There's so much demand for these people with these kind of skills, more so than just, hey, I'm really good with customers. I can work in an office. I'm good with computers. People need to have these hands-on skills, and it's in high demand right now in our market. So that was kind of the first thing that I kind of took away from it, is just listening to Mike Rowe talk about how the trades are really kind of falling off. They're somewhat dying off because people just aren't choosing to go into it, because in their mind, there's this subconscious idea that's planted in there that it is a lesser job than being in an office or working at a company or anything like that. These positions are in such high demand right now, and will be in the future if that trend continues of, for every 5 that leave, 2 take their place. And it's just kind of something that's sad to see, that these skilled workers in their respective trades are just kind of dying out. So the next part of the live stream was actually one of my favorite parts, because they brought on a special guest, Michael Easter, who was the author of The Comfort Crisis, and he's a professor at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. So he actually talked about how in our world today, we are so fragile. He just talked about how we're fragile emotionally and physically. I mean, think about it, how often people get offended, how often people take offense to different things. And that really stems from, we live such a life of comfort. I mean, this is one of the best periods of history to be alive in. We have air conditioning. We have delivery food. I mean, anything you want, you find on Amazon, you find on DoorDash, and it's delivered to your door here within sometimes an hour, 30 minutes, or at the very latest, sometime next week. I mean, we live in such a time where, hey, if you want something, you can get it immediately. And how that's just been so detrimental to us emotionally, because it makes us so much less resilient. Because whenever we want something, we want it then. If it doesn't go our way, if it isn't easy and simple with just a push of a button, it's not worth our time, or we easily get frustrated, offended, and we just kind of storm out of the room. And I just thought, wow, that is so insightful, because you just see it on social media. You see it in the news all over the place. Hey, someone took offense at this. Someone said this, and therefore this happened. And just understanding that has come from because we live in such a rich and beneficial time. And I don't mean that, hey, everyone has everything that they need, but there's so much that we do have that people did not have 100 years ago, 50 years ago. And the other thing that I found really interesting is they started talking about boredom. And this is something that has kind of stuck with me, because I realized that in my own life, I always kind of have to have something going on. I need to be listening to a podcast. I have to be watching a YouTube video. I mean, I feel like I don't have any downtime, because I'm like, if there's not something going on in the background, I can't do it. I mean, there'll be times when I get up in the morning and I'm in the bathroom and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I need to brush my teeth. I need to put my contacts in. I need to get all prettied up. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, I just need to find a YouTube video. Once I find a YouTube video, I can get things done. And I stand there and I probably waste 3 to 5 minutes just trying to find something to watch, because that's just how we're wired. We're wired to always have something going on. We have this wonderful device in our pocket that can be a gateway to so much knowledge, so many answers, but instead we're using it to just, hey, get rid of boredom. And boredom is actually such a crucial part of our lives. It allows for more creativity. It allows for so much more accomplishment, because it really gives us the time to kind of be in our own heads. It gives us the time to think freely rather than kind of be bombarded by whatever else is going on in our lives. And this is something that Michael Easter kind of shared. I'm going to kind of paraphrase it a little bit, but boredom is so easily escaped. Phones, computer screens are all over, and the things that we're watching are hyper-stimulating, and they're designed to be that way so that we keep coming back. It kind of reminds me of the apps like Candy Crush, any of those apps who have gone explosively and viral, where you have this limited amount of lives or however long you can play it, you can get that quick little rush. And then you kind of have to wait, but then you kind of keep coming back. You get that notification, hey, you have 3 lives left. You can do more lives. And it keeps us going. There's so much content available to us. And there's a lot of it that's good and a lot of it that is just, hey, watch this to kill a couple hours. Watch this to kill the next 15, 20 minutes and then just keep going. Just repeat that cycle. I just found that really interesting because I just find it so true in my life. I find myself looking through and going, okay, I need to find something to watch, to listen to, when really we need to find time to be still, to kind of relax, think about what we're doing, think about what we want to accomplish, let our own thoughts prevail rather than the voices of the surrounding world. It was actually so inspiring that I chose to buy his book, and that'll probably be the next book review after this next one that I'm reading right now. The one I'm reading right now is called The Power of Habit, which is another really interesting read. I can't wait to share with you guys what I've learned and what I'm gathering from it because it's just a super cool book about how we live our lives. And so that's going to be the next book, The Comfort Crisis. I hope you guys go and check it out. I'm really excited to read it. Dave Ramsey, Mike Rowe, they both talked very highly of it just because we live such comfortable lives. And that has led us to be weaker emotionally because if it's not the easy way, we just don't do it at all. And that was kind of the overarching theme of the whole live stream, that, hey, you have to choose the more hard right rather than the easy wrong, because we have to put in that effort to kind of work, to become better, to achieve more. We can't just always have what we want. It can't just fall in our laps. We have to actually put in the work. We have to fail even. We have to fall short several times so that when we do reach that peak of success, it really, really means something. And that's something that's just shared over the whole live stream. Choose the more difficult right rather than the easy wrong. And even with Michael Easter's book, one of the parts that he shared was saying, be a 2%er. And the experience that he gave for that was when you have the option to either go up the stairs or take an escalator, what are you going to choose? And most people are going to choose the escalator. He did a study on this where 98% of people took the escalator and only 2% took the stairs, even though 100% of those people knew that the stairs were a healthier and better option. But because it's so comfortable, we live in that comfortable life, we're going to choose the automatic stairs so that way we don't have to exert ourselves for 30 seconds. And so be a 2%er. Be the person that's going to choose the healthier, better option. Be the person that's going to work hard even when that easier choice is available. Because choosing that harder right is going to be so much more beneficial in the long run rather than just that instant kind of rush of dopamine when we choose the easy way. The next part that I kind of wanted to share was from Ken Coleman. And Ken Coleman, like I've said before, one of the best career coaches out there. He has his own show, frequently hosts the Ramsey Show, just an expert on anything career. Super inspiring. I love hearing from him. And the part that really stuck out to me when he was speaking was how we've kind of raised this generation of we award people for participating rather than producing. And that comes from going to t-ball practice, going to soccer, and everyone gets a medal. We don't keep score. We don't do anything like this. And what it's done is it made people, hey, I showed up to work. I should get something. Hey, I did this very little thing. I should be rewarded as much as everybody else. When that's not the case. We really should be focusing on, hey, what can you produce? What can you give? And then reward accordingly. I'm really a fan of commission-based with a salary kind of behind it because it lets employees know, hey, we're going to pay you regardless because we need you to do these day-to-day tasks, but we also want you to know, hey, if you're bringing in more money, you're going to be rewarded for it. The more that you're able to do, the more that we want to help you. And it just kind of opens the door and really incentivizes people to work. And I think there's just a balance between those two. Another part that was just something that kind of struck me was, I think it was when Dave Ramsey and Mike Rowe are kind of going back and forth before they're introducing their next guest, is they talk about choosing your identity, choosing who you want to be, because ultimately how you feel at work is a choice. And this was the quote that kind of stood out to me that I jotted down as quickly as I could, that job satisfaction has much more to do with you rather than your actual job. And this just kind of went back to how Mike Rowe was talking with these people who are doing these dirty jobs, who are doing these jobs that need to be done but nobody wants to do, and just how they look like they're having fun, that they're smiling, they're laughing. And that's because they know who they are. They know what their purpose is. They know the satisfaction and need that they have to do. And one of the examples that Mike shares is when he's actually walking through a hotel lobby. And there's a guy up on a ladder. You can only see the bottom half of him. And he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" He goes, "Well, if I don't get these pipes fixed, then my customers won't be too happy. I need to make sure I take care of my customers." And that just kind of really struck him, that this guy who is fixing pipes at a hotel is going, "These are my people. These are the people that I am taking care of." And that's something that is just kind of lost on a lot of people, I think, especially in our workforce. I think we've all gone to restaurants or places of work where you talk with the cashier, you talk with your waiter, waitress, whatever it may be, and there's just an unenthused look on their face. They couldn't care less if they were here. They don't really care too much. They just got to put in their time and then get out, get their paycheck, and go home. And then there's the reverse of that. You have the people who are excited to be there, who you can see the smile on their face. You can see the warmth that comes from that. And those are the people who go, "This is my responsibility." It may not mean a whole lot. It may be I'm just bringing them their burger, but this is important to me. And that just really stands out. If you can do that in your work, if you can do that in your job, you stand out so much. When you look at your customers, when you look at the people around you and go, "This is my team. These are my customers. I want to make sure that they have the best experience possible." It just shifts our perspective from what work actually is. It shifts it to, I enjoy what I'm doing. I know I'm making a difference in people's lives, even if it's just selling apples at a grocery store. Those are your apples. Make sure that you take pride in what you're doing. To kind of close out, the last thing that I want to share that kind of stuck with me was from Dave Ramsey, and this is towards the end of the live stream. And this is something that he shared. This was the quote that I jotted down, and I just thought it was really powerful. "Knowledge is the currency of success." And I just want to let that kind of sink in. That knowledge is the currency of success. It's not so much about what you can do, what you have done. It's about what you're learning. One of the first episodes that I did, when I wanted to start this podcast, and I was planning out the first few episodes, that was one that kept coming back into my mind. A lifetime of learning. Because I had just graduated from school, I had just finished my degree, and now I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with school, I'm out. I don't have to learn anymore. I just have to work, just have to put in my 9 to 5, clock out every day, and I'm good to go. And how quickly I realized that that's not the case. How quickly I realized that I need to devote myself to more. I have to keep learning. I have to keep growing. It doesn't ever stop. And just how that is such a powerful currency. I mean, you hear about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Knowledge is so much more beneficial because we get to actually apply that. People see that, and that's what brings us success. One of the cool things about having that knowledge as currency is it doesn't go away when you share it. It multiplies. As you kind of share your knowledge, share what you've learned with the people around you, it continues to grow. It is one of the best investments you'll ever make. There is so much compounding interest. There is so much return that it is phenomenal as you share it around. It's not something just to be kept to ourselves, but that knowledge really is that currency of success. That really allows us to become more, to achieve more, whether it be a plumber, electrician, construction worker, lawyer, doctor, teacher, whatever job you're in. Please continue to learn. Continue to get that compounding return in learning. Make sure to share it with those around you. Overall, I thought this live stream was amazing. It was inspirational, motivational to go, hey, I need to kind of put more effort in. I want to work harder. I want to do more. I want to achieve more with my personal life, with my podcast, in my current job, because that's what gives us that kind of satisfaction, that pleasure, and ultimately allows us to bless and help the people around us. I really highly recommend it. I hope you guys take time to listen to it. It's about 2 hours long. Well worth your time, wherever you are in your career path. If you're just starting out, if you're midway through, or even getting to the end. I think it was just inspirational, motivational, and they shared a lot of good tidbits that I didn't quite get to. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys take the time to actually go listen to that live stream. It was really motivational, really inspirational, and I hope you guys take the time to go check it out. I love the team over at EntreLeadership. I think they're amazing guys, and I hope they continue to put out this amazing content for all of us. If you like this episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review. Make sure to send me your feedback. I really want to hear from you guys. Send me an email, contact@mycareerpathpodcast.com. Let me know what careers you guys are interested in. I want to see if I can't find some people who I can talk with so that you can get a little bit of a taste of what that might look like in the future. So hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Catch you later.